The mic live? Guess we'll find out.
My dude Damien fucking cooking in his kitchen. Drew McIntyre.
Young Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I don't want to say the things I said when we were at my house and I forgot the mic.
Oh my God.
I'm just happy my sisters wasn't listening.
Well,
are we live?
The mic is.
So we're live.
Almost. I gotta share this stuff.
Oh yeah, at this point.
Hold on.
Too late. We can't. What do you mean hold on? They're already hearing it. Just share it. Doesn't matter. Welcome to the We Like Sports podcast with your hosts Keith and special guests Riggs and Peyton.
He
How
said
you guys
special
doing?
guest.
Well, yeah, it's been a long time. I haven't been here. I was out making a movie.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Cool.
How'd that porno go?
It went better than your sex life.
That's probably completely accurate.
Right?
We are live here from Hooligans Gym. We want to give a special shout out to Coach Hooligans Gym, KM Voice, everybody that supports us. We want to thank you for joining us.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and while I'm sharing this, and before we get to the tip-off, Keith, catch us up with your life.
What part of it?
Where
I'm a super famous rock star, and you guys are in my presence.
Yes, exactly. And I wouldn't say rock star, I'd say movie star.
Same thing, right?
Pretty much.
Whatever it is, man.
I'm
But
just
catch us up.
kidding.
You're a big shot. I'm surprised that you still remembered us. I actually,
Come on.
no
I
BS.
called in that day.
No BS. So I mentioned earlier before we ended up getting started that I saw my one, I went to the batting cages and I actually saw my one friend I went to high school with. That's actually, this is the way that pro athletes should end up actually respecting and helping out other kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was literally having, I'm assuming, like a seminar for like all these like college and high school students. Hey.
You're on a 30-second delay.
But anyways, so like I saw him, and it was just weird coincidence that I ended up running into him. He's playing for the Orioles organization, and he's having like these camps for these kids to get better, and like he's over watching them. That was the first time I saw him in like 4 years. But like literally going back to what I said about you, and don't forget about us little people. Literally, as I was leaving, I looked at him and I went, "Hey," I'm like, "Nice seeing you again, man." I'm like, "Good luck on you having like a baby and everything." I'm like, try not to forget about us little people. I'm like, I know we're really forgettable. And he was like, I won't forget about you.
You're not forgettable. None of you guys are forgettable.
Appreciate
Who's
that.
the other kid that's usually here?
Parker Pierce.
The professional Parker Pierce.
Yeah.
So like that was actually kind of like that backstory as to how I kind of made sense with the two of them combined.
Like it.
And I'm still trying to share this, but I guess while I'm trying to share this, since the mic's hot and so am I, 'tis the season. I was expecting the dumbass comments.
No, I just gave the camera the look.
So anyways, the tip-off.
What the hell is that hat?
I got it from Brandon on Halloween. I'll tell you the story off air, but I like it. It's a new look. I'm trying it out. I don't know. I feel like a hip-hop hipster when I wear this sometimes.
What's your rap name?
My rap name would be MC Such and Such. Since I was a kid, I told myself I was a
Don't they
rapper.
call you
That is
Riggs?
I got that nickname in the 6th grade.
I liked Riggs as a hip hop name. Browns. Let's talk some Browns.
No. This isn't your show.
Oh, it's not my show.
It's
You're
our
right.
show.
You're
We
right.
make
Oh,
the script.
Okay.
You
You don't even follow the script.
We're trying to. We're trying to do better. It's a new year. In a week.
You're right.
In a
Might as
week.
well screw up the last show before the New Year's, right?
Well, I mean, that's about every show. So thank you for tuning in all of 2019. 2020. Anyways, though, stay tuned to find out if we will actually have a show. Unless if you guys are okay with carrying on without me. I know I'm not as big of a shot as Keith, but I might have to end up going to the radio station because...
Tonight?
No, next week's show.
Oh.
And then for sure the 6th isn't happening. But the show, guys, could go on without me. That's up to you guys. Stay tuned. Make sure to check out the social media. They'll stay informed with me. But on the tip-off note, what are your guys' thoughts on the college football playoff rankings right now? You have Ohio State at 3, Clemson... No, hold on. I did that wrong, I think. No, Clemson's at 4. No, it's Ohio State at 2, Clemson at 3, Notre Dame at 4, and Alabama at 1. So you have Alabama, Notre Dame, and Clemson, and Ohio State. And this college football question goes into effect for the fact that you have Dabo Sweeney, the Clemson head coach, saying that when it's the coaches poll, that Ohio State is ranked 11. There's teams like Coastal Carolina and Texas A&M and Cincinnati, like all these teams that don't belong above Ohio State in front of him for his coaches poll. So I want to get what your guys' thoughts were on that note, because it just sounds like a head coach that's afraid to face Ohio State because they knew that they got away with it last year, and it's the rematch this year.
The only thing that seems the same to me with this college playoff bracket, it's the same powerhouse teams that I see. And in my opinion, Alabama's always number 1 or number 2. They never fall down to number 5 whatsoever because Nick Saban is such an excellent coach. For the Coastal Carolina teams, I feel like teams like that should be able to get a shot because some people are tired of seeing the big powerhouses all the time. I would like to see like a Florida Atlantic or something like that every once in a while, but the school has to be good enough.
Now it's your turn. I know it's been a while, but now it's your turn.
God, you pissed me off. Like I said, I agree with Riggs. That's all.
Okay.
He's the big shot now.
He's the big. So, also just an update, too. The Cavs are having their first game tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. Right now, it's the end of the first quarter. Colin Sexton has had 12 points, and the Cavs are leading by 1 point, 24-23. So, obviously, stay tuned throughout the show tonight to make sure you know what's going on with the latest Cavs. But as we end up talking about Ohio State and the college football playoffs, obviously, I want to get into this, and we could dive back into this a little bit later on. But did you guys see the Big Ten championship game last Saturday?
Not at all.
So on a stats standpoint, we had Trey Sermon. He's a senior running back. Throughout the 2020 season, he had 55 rush attempts, 344 yards, 1 touchdown. In that game alone, in the Big Ten championship, he had 29 rush attempts, 331 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. If that didn't bump up his draft stock, I don't know what will.
Right.
So, is this developing more of a threat for Ohio State with the fact that they have Justin Fields, that's a good quarterback, but you also have Trey Sermon on top of it that may or may not have had a coming-out party in the Big Ten championship game?
Well, you can elaborate first if you like.
No, you go ahead.
Basically, like what I see out of that is, I don't want to say that young man didn't take the game so serious until the Big Ten championship, where it's like, okay, it's not payday, so I'm not going to work my butt off for this paycheck today. So maybe he just had an extra bowl of Wheaties that day before the game, or just a nice pep talking.
How many pages do you share that to?
A lot.
That took like 14 minutes.
Well, now we're live. I'm here.
Barely.
I'm existing.
Barely.
I'm existing. So are you going to elaborate on this? I can't stand him. This is how the show's going to go. Riggs is going to make a point. Keith's going to say, you still go by Keith, right? It's not Mr. Migra or anything?
No, you can call me movie star.
I hate you so much. So anyways, though, as we end up going back to Ohio State, I mean, I just don't like the fact that when it came to the coaches poll rankings, you had Nick Saban and Dabo Sweeney both leave. I can't stand you either. But you had them both leave out Ohio State in the college football rankings. Nick Saban even said that they were pretty much a fifth-ranked team, and Texas A&M could be at 4. I mean, honestly, I'm excited to see Ohio State and the potential that they could have, because I think this is very reminiscent of 2014 when Ohio State was in the national championship game. And Justin Fields, I know Parker Pierce isn't here, but our good friend Troy Baumgartner from 1450 WLEC and 93.5 FM for WLEC. I know how to do plugs now every now and then, believe it or not.
You barely know how to sit in front of the
But anyways, right. Troy and Parker Pierce have been going back and forth because Parker Pierce doesn't believe that that Justin Fields is a top 10 overall pick. I think, on the other hand, I don't know about you guys, but I think Justin Fields may or may not, he might be looking at being in a Jets uniform now that it looks like Trevor Lawrence could be bumped up to Jacksonville with the Jets actually winning a game for once.
Well, if I'm Trevor, I feel like Trevor Lawrence doesn't even want to go to the Jets. And I've been hearing talks around the neighborhood that if Trevor Lawrence is smart, he'll keep his butt in school and not get drafted to a bad team.
But, like, the thing is, though, too, is that you do not have this option of, like, where you want to go. Like, if you're playing professional, like, look at all these people, though, that have been drafted. You have you don't pick and choose where you get to come from. Like, the last people to do that was Drew Brees and Eli Manning, way back in, like, the 2003, 2004, 2005, like, seasons. Why Trevor Lawrence is having an opportunity to play professional football. It's going to be with the Jaguars instead of the Jets, and he's already complained about the Jets. So he's gotten his wish, and the Jaguars are a much better team, too, on top of it.
Better, Florida, better environment and stuff like that. No state income tax.
And he has wide receivers. He has a running back. He actually has a team around him. And as we were
mentioning, owner that likes wrestling. Yeah, got you.
But as we were mentioning off air, with the whole entire aspect of the draft and the Jaguars are better off than the Jets. The Jaguars were a team that beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC back 2 years ago, and that was reminiscent, as we were talking about off air, with the Bengals game from Monday night, with Ben Roethlisberger throwing 3 picks that could have been 4 or 5 that our producer Tyler even mentioned.
Wow. Producer Tyler.
So
he's a big shot, too. He was working on the movie.
Yeah, but he actually shows up every now and then, too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Really?
Sometimes.
Weird. Let me know when you show up to do, like, a good show. I'm not saying your shows are bad. I'm just saying they're not great.
I see what he did when you show up, like, step up the game or whatnot. I see what he did there.
You'll get better, Mr. I'm on. What are you on? 1420, 98.3, WXPM, What are you on?
1450 WLEC, 93.5 FM.
Check them out.
That is WLEC.
What is that, 22 hertz radio station? Is that like a ham radio or?
Listen, just because you were talking about your Christmas dinner and ham and all this nonsense, I don't care about. We still have to incorporate, and maybe we could kind of get your opinion here, or if we'll take it to the fans, but for Get in the Ring, Parker Pierce and I have had an issue because there has been recounts, there has been miscounts. This thing has been carrying on well over for like a month now. And last time I checked, I'm the interim Get in the Ring champion.
Correct.
Riggs, why is this?
Because
Catch Keith up.
Because the person that was doing the ballots when we did the few shows
The
in my
ballots?
house, yeah.
Who did the ballots?
Yours truly.
He was counting.
You know. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was a little cloudy and I messed up on a few points. And
define cloudy. You mean like cloudy?
Yeah, like whatever Josh Gordon was doing.
No! No!
But nonetheless, I messed up on some votes.
Did you say that if Josh well, I guess you're not getting. Are you guys getting paid like what, $2-3 million now to do the show? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Did you say that if Gordon couldn't stop smoking weed to do it, you already messed up, man, and it's because you were cloudy.
Yep. So yeah, that's why the Get in the Ring votes are messed up, because I had my head in the clouds, and I liked both of their. What can I say? I like both of their statements.
Yeah, there we
that
go.
was going on for that show, but pressure happened, so we just need better clarification for a Get in the Ring winner.
Yeah, so I mean, you have your option to either, if you're going to be around for a minute, Mr. Keith Migra-Hillis.
Or what? I'm doing a show with Matt Tiff now too. So what is it? Keith Migra-Hillis-Tiff. Listen, I'm my own person.
Yeah, and you just keep on adding on to your last names, you whore.
No, I just keep on adding on to. Really? He called me a whore. He called me a whore.
You see my face? I didn't even expect that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I whore it out. Hey, Tyler, can you pull up the movie poster with his name on it?
My name?
Yeah.
I'm not
the
on
movie
it.
poster.
I'm not on it.
You were.
The movie poster?
Yeah, the whoring. Isn't that what it was called? He got top billing on it. In fact, he was signing them that day, right? My head must be in the clouds. I must be high. I don't know what's going on.
Oh man.
Anyways,
I got dragged into this. I love this.
Anyways, as we were talking about for Get in the Ring, you have your options. You could either wait until Parker Pierce, Riggs, Keith Migra-Hillis-Tiff can decide of what's going on, or you could compete for this interim title by having a matchup against Riggs. Because as of right now, if you win, it looks like we're having a 4-way Get in the Ring segment.
Ooh, a 4-way. There's got to be something better than that to call it.
A four-way dance?
I'm thinking of wrestling. I was going to say like a four-way tornado match.
Tornado match is good.
There we go.
Call it-
But
They
anyways,
have to be a 4-way.
what other things could you call with
Tornado.
4 people that are going to be... Because Parker
Tag
Pierce...
team. That's even bad too.
Yes, it is.
Because Parker Pierce 1-1. I
I'll
retained
give the
my
ring free for all.
interim. There we go.
Getting the
There we
ring free
go.
for all.
So you face Riggs. If you win, you get to be in the free for all, which still sounds weird if you think about
What
it.
if I lose?
Then it's just a 3-way. So the topic is for Get in the Ring. It's been a while. I think this one's going to be a curveball because this is going to be a later topic. But Chief Wahoo, the Indians' name, for or against it with the change coming up.
I'm against it.
Yeah, like that.
You got to fight for your life then. All right, who's starting?
I mean, okay, I'm going to act like is the word conservative right? I'm going to act like I'm the one that cares that they shouldn't change, or they should change it, right?
It's not conservatives.
What?
Conservatives, yeah, but a bunch of liberal snowflake bastards are the one trying to get it changed.
Then I'll act like them, okay? And I'll act like, that the...
Well, make sure Tyler can do the ding ding. All right, ready?
Okay.
Set,
You're
go.
wrong.
I feel like a name change is something new. You got to stop living in the past. If some people
Stop living in... Go ahead.
If some people are offended, then we live in a different day and age where I know I can't do this because it's not my real feelings. Basically, spiders sound cool. Spiders look better. And if the Chief Wahoo, they should at least change him from not red and make him look like the Blackhawks logo where he's less offensive. 30 seconds.
I'm giving you like 2.5. I'm kind of torn there.
Right, because it's just...
I gave you shit and you made like shit pie. There wasn't much more you could do with it.
It's like
Tyler, could you think of a better Get in the Ring segment? This is part 1. Anyways, this is going to be Keith's turn. You know what? Since you've been gone for a while, you have to win twice. So if you win this first time, you move on to the second round of Get in the Ring, which happens to be Tyler Piggett's topic.
That's fine.
So here we go. Ready?
All right.
3, 2, 1. I need a ding ding.
You said we shouldn't live in the past anymore, but the same people who are complaining about this are the same people that said we need reparations for people. If it's a different time and age, and we're living in the future now and not the past, then none of that matters. A silent minority got pissed off because they're a bunch of snowflakes, and they want to change something because they believe it's offensive. The word Indian is not offensive. Period. Playing for the Indians is not offensive, period. If you have to change the name, then you have to change the name of Black Hawk Helicopters, right? You have to change the name of the Atlanta Braves. Aunt Jemima can't be on the pancake bottle anymore because of that super offensive. It's not time. No. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we have to figure out, and as Clevelanders, they say it's time to change the name. Why is it time to change the name? What is the reasoning behind it? Does it actually offend people? No. You want to know why? Because there's a man that I did a movie with that is Native American. I asked him about that. He is a Michigan fan, but he said that is not offensive at all. And the people are trying to project themselves into the politically correct part, and it's just not right. Because now you're erasing history. When you start erasing history, history then repeats itself because you have nothing to base it on. I don't agree with Confederate flags, but don't touch them! Because it's history. I don't agree with changing the Indians' name, so don't! You want to protest a whole bunch of crap that doesn't matter? Let's start with the president.
Well, you hit lap and not stop, and you threw my phone. So whatever you could have won, I think you went backwards, but we'll still give you the benefit of the doubt.
Your phone sucks.
Oh my God, he's getting so cocky with his technology now too. Movie star, big shot, all this stuff, and he's like, "Hey, look at me with the iPhone 15 Plus triple XL screen."
Oh yeah, no crap, man.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Anyways, Keith won
I got AirPods too.
because I felt bad for him. Congrats. Anyways, for the second topic of Get in the Ring, Tyler, what do you have topic-wise? Meanwhile, where Tyler's going to end up picking that up. Get in the Ring, like I said. This has to be Keith having 2 opportunities.
Oh, let me say something real quick. You know what I
You want to
noticed?
just pick the topic?
What the hell's CD? What?
Oh no, I don't want to pick the topic, but
What is it?
okay, people
You
out
need
there.
to pull these up.
AFC North quarterbacks, right?
What's that?
You got Big Ben, you got Baker, you got Lamar, and you got Joe Burrow, right? Look at all their quarterback numbers. It's
And you
6.
said I got 0 points?
No, I think that
No,
was
that's about what we talked about.
with the
Shetty
Cavs.
Osman.
All right.
But basically, look, okay, the AFC North's 4 quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
You know what all their jersey numbers are? 6, 7, 8, 9.
Son of a bitch.
See, yeah.
I can't stand you. That's why I'm sitting.
If you're waiting for a laugh track, there is none. Like, you just stared at, like what the
All right, so the get in the ring topic from Tyler, our producer, is who went first last time? Riggs?
I did.
Whoever wants to go first. But the question is, do you believe Baker Mayfield could still develop into a Hall of Fame quarterback?
See,
quarterback? That's harsh. That's not nice to do to people.
Right, because that's my quarterback, and then I don't want to be the one that says he's not, and then my thoughts are not organic or real.
All right, we'll rock, paper, scissors for it.
Because it's been a while.
All right, rock. Damn it. Ooh.
I feel like one's going earlier than the other.
What do you mean?
It was 1, 2, 3. No,
Yeah,
yeah,
1,
that
2,
was
3,
timed.
go.
Well, somebody was like slower by like a split second. It wasn't the same.
Really?
Yeah, so what's going on now?
Did your keen eye pick that up, or did you have help? What the
Are
hell?
you in the clouds right now?
No. So, what's going on from the aspect of rock, paper, scissors? What'd that resolve? Who wins? Is that what just happened? Or who's going first?
Oh, that was the result. Who's going first? I lost, so I go first.
Okay, ready?
All right, so, and this is Baker Mayfield about being a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to
Hold
do
on.
the negative.
We need a ding ding, and I need to hit the timer. Go.
Baker being a Hall of Fame quarterback, I don't see that happening just yet. I believe Clevelanders are falling in love because we finally have our baby boy quarterback. I just don't want to get my hopes up with this guy and him crap the bed in a big game situation. Now, what if we do make it to the ballroom dance?
Oh, I have to give points.
Right, but what if we do make it to the ballroom dance and he craps the bed? To me, that's not a Hall of Famer. That's someone that still needs work. I love Baker Mayfield, but we can't just roll the dice on him so soon.
You got 2 from when I started counting. All right, so you got 2. You were against Baker Mayfield being
Even though
a
I'm
Hall of Fame
not,
quarterback. But that's the role you took, and that's the way you're going to shut your mouth.
I'm the heel.
Exactly. So on that note, Keith, you are for Baker Mayfield being a Hall of Fame quarterback. Go.
Is it for a Hall of Fame quarterback, or can he develop into one? Those
That
are two
one,
very different
yes.
questions. Because can he develop? Yes, anybody can develop into a Hall of Fame quarterback. Anybody can. And yes, I'm a homer, so of course I want him to be a Hall of Fame quarterback or have the coaching behind him to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. There's a lot of stuff that has to get done for that to happen. We got to fire on all cylinders. We have the proper coaching staff behind him. He has his support behind him. And as you watch him get better and better at each game, dude, he started at 70 yards in the air. That's insane. You're starting to see him break records. Compare him to what Brady did. Compare him, at this stage of the game, you start to see that, he is a very good candidate. If we continue to have the staff behind us and what we need to do, he could very well develop into a Hall of Fame quarterback.
So should I deduct one for you going over and not
Yeah,
knowing?
you can.
All right, because either way you still win.
Yeah, that's fine.
So anyways, it's 3-2. Keith won his right to be in the free-for-all of the We Like Sports Get in the Ring Championship. You know what we should do by now? If we have a Get in the Ring champion, we should get a belt. Because there's a ring, there should be a belt.
I have a plush toy wrestling belt, but I'm not going to disrespect the champ that way.
Here's what the fuck? All right, so I'll go buy a belt. We'll get a belt next time, but it's got to stay here, and we'll
Pass it
you
around.
can like travel with it or whatever. But when we do like remotes, like on Sundays, you have to hit somebody with it. That's the only thing I have. It doesn't matter which one of you two. You just gotta beat somebody with it. I want to see somebody beat with a belt. It's not gonna be like a super expensive one, but
Enough for like damage to be done.
it's gonna hurt. Like if you hit somebody with it, it's gonna hurt. That's what I want to happen.
Ding, ding.
Why do you like pain?
I'm a Cleveland fan.
Oh my God.
That's what we know.
Oh,
That's what we
man.
know and grew up on.
Oh, man, that tugged on my heartstrings because you're right.
So there you have it. Next time Get in the Ring, it's going to be Parker Pierce, it's going to be Peyton, it's going to be Riggs, it's going to be Keith. All for this belt that's a title for Get in the
That was
Ring.
good.
I'm into it. I'm interested. Parker Pierce has been champ for way too long. I've been interim
Parker
champ.
Pierce is only the champ because we allow him to be.
Yeah, except for the one time. And look where we are at now. We got a belt on the way.
Yeah, see? Because I get stuff done before he does. It's just how it is.
Damn. So, before we end up taking a quick break, and we'll come back about at 8 o'clock, because it's 7:55 right now. When we get back...
7:56.
All right, see? That's why we brought you back, because you're the one that keeps this show rolling along and on time.
Right.
So, when we get back from break, we'll be diving into the basketball. I know how much Keith loves his basketball, so we're going to end up diving into basketball.
I do like the sports ball. I think that's fun.
The basketball.
Basketball is a good movie. Also very fun.
Maybe
Oh
at that
my
last
goodness.
hour, 9:30.
Have you seen
9 to
Basketball?
9:30? No, I haven't. I just know the title.
You seriously never seen that movie?
Nope.
You get out until you come back, until you see it.
You get out until you come back.
That's right. You get out. Come back
Have you
when
seen
see it.
Mr. Baseball, though, with the dude that's from Friends?
Okay, let's do this. People in the chat room, what is your favorite sports-related movie?
Field of Dreams?
Ooh, you know what? We're going to come back to this about that 9 to 9:30 hour.
Remember the Titans, though. Dude, Field of Dreams, remember the Titans.
We Are Marshall's good, too.
We Are
Rudy?
Marshall, Coach
Yes.
Carter.
Oh.
We're hitting it all.
Have you guys ever seen the movie A Mile in His Shoes? It's about this kid that has Asperger's.
No.
And he ends up
I
being like...
feel bad that I didn't see that. Thanks.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
Like, it made me
would've been-
cry man tears.
My phone just thought that was garbage.
We'll be right back on the We Like Sports podcast.
When we get back, we'll be talking basketball, NBA, obviously the Cavs, a little bit more about the NBA. Charles Barkley and his ridiculous comments. Maybe his interview, maybe his interview with Kevin Durant that lasted all of 1 second. But Riggs, what are you gonna do before we go to break?
Well, what I like to do in the privacy of my own home, and that is...
Whoa!
Well, Manscaped, promo code sports with a Z, SPORTZ. Ball toner, ball shaver, ball deodorant, that lawnmower, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Shave your balls. We'll be right back on the We Like Sports podcast.
Don't go anywhere.
If you're bored in the house and I'm in the house bored, bored in the house and I'm in the house bored, why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the high-patented, high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTSWITHAZ at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped, and use the code SPORTS. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.
Wow. Welcome back to the Wheeling Sports Podcast with Riggs, with Keith Migra Hillis
more rich than you, more famous than you, more popular than you. Go ahead, keep going.
You know, it's okay to be more popular.
So keep using my hyphens because they're great. Keep going.
And we're live here from Hooligans Gym. A big shout out and thank you to Coach for blessed for letting us use this lovely studio. Now we're gonna get into some NBA talks for everybody. 'Tis the season. The NBA started 24 hours ago?
Yeah, just about. You had the Nets and the Golden State Warriors,
the Lakers
and the Clippers, and right now, as we did mention with the Cavaliers, we are gonna be updating you throughout the night. The Cavaliers right now at halftime are up 65-44. I'm actually surprised. Obviously, they have a really good young squad. Here's what last week my one friend said that this is his hot take, and I kind of want your guys' thoughts on this too because this isn't even on the script, but we're going to give it a shot anyways. Do the Cavs have a chance of making it to the playoffs? No. His reasoning was every other team just seemed to stay the same and didn't get better, but the Cavs got better. They drafted, and they're still young and developing. They could be sneaking in that bottom 7 or 8 seed.
It would be nice.
The only thing I'm with Austin on this one, I can't believe I'm going to say this, or Parker Pierce, or whatever the hell his name is.
JaVale McGee actually has 13 points.
I'm with it. It's hard to draft a team and make them better, or it's hard to make a team better around a draft. You know what I mean? That takes a while. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? No. Do I think they have the capability to make the playoffs? No, I don't think they do.
See, me being a homer, I would like to see the Cavaliers.
I didn't say I don't want them there.
Right.
I'm just talking realistically as a sports, whatever I am. I just don't see that happening.
Well, we're gonna be real. I would like to see them get in, but it would probably just be an 8th seed. And us being Cleveland fans used to heartbreak. They can be on a roller coaster ride where they're almost gonna get there, then they can just tank and lose the last, games that actually matter. Yeah. Run out of gas, peak too early.
You could end up bringing up the Indians in 2017 too, if you want to talk about peaking too early.
That is a solid fact.
But you were starting to say something, Keith, and it just seemed like you shut yourself up. But I want to know what gear you were going in with the Cavs, because it was something about the 8th seed thing that you ended up mentioning, and
I could see that.
That's what I'm saying. A playoff team that way, they could sneak in because right now
is a good word. I guess is a good word to say it. But so your take on it, I'm sure, is probably.
I think after seeing the preseason games, outside of the Knicks game that was their last preseason game, which by the way the Cavs requested for an extra preseason game as well, because they felt like they didn't have enough time, so they had the option in the NBA to get an extra preseason game. They got smoked against the Knicks.
I watched that one, yes.
I haven't watched any preseason games at all. I would have watched this one if I was home, but I got things to do. I'm live from 7:30 to 9:30 on the We Like Sports podcast on Wednesdays. But anyways,
I don't see nothing wrong with the Cavaliers asking for another preseason game. Like you said, that's like asking your teacher, hey, can I have an extra day to study for a test?
I thought you were going to ask for extra homework for a minute, and you're 6 feet away from me. I would have slapped you.
No. But no, it's if anything, if I'm the league and I'm saying, okay, you guys really need an extra game, well, you don't want to go out there and embarrass yourself, so yeah, why not? There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think you can start making demands like that. I don't think you can start asking for things. Who are they going to play? What if another team doesn't want an extra preseason game? Who are they going to give it to? They're going to force another team to do it?
Right.
You can't make demands like that. We've seen what happens when leagues bend rules for people, and it doesn't work out in anybody's favor. And I know people like Kyrie. I'm not saying you don't. But when they made that man... Really?
So here's the thing.
The players union, there was a lot of things that went wrong, and they started bending rules, and it started to become a circus. You give the Cavs an extra preseason game, you're going to have to give somebody else an extra preseason game all of a sudden.
But at the same time, though, with the Knicks, the Knicks are just as bad. The Cavs are, a 5th overall pick, fifth person to pick in the draft, and the Knicks are they were right around there. They're just as bad as the Cavs last year. They're literally, I think, one step up in the division. But the thing is, though, is the Knicks obviously need the work. The Cavs need the work. I think that one makes sense. And to go on top of Kyrie Irving, too, here's the thing I don't get about this, because it came out a couple weeks ago, and obviously I haven't seen you in about a week, maybe 2. I haven't seen you since you were clean shaven. And you grew a beard now? You actually look like a man. I'm so proud of you.
Well, I had to because I do adult things.
I hate him so much. But anyways, with Kyrie Irving,
Fu Manchupa you had because you lost a bet.
hey, I have a full beard now too.
Yeah, I mean, is it full though?
Full enough.
For what?
Full enough to
17
females.
Full enough to full females? That you're an actual man? I agree.
Wow. But anyways, though, with Kyrie Irving, the thing is that he was complaining a while back about he was the leader of the team before LeBron. LeBron gets here, he's upset that he's not the leader of the team. What is and then
That's
to top
kind
it
of
off, you
important,
go
so
present
is
day
what
though
it is.
too. You go present day. You have Kevin Durant, who is not you're not going to lead that team. Kevin Durant and you both are going to lead that team. It's
Okay, but listen, I have a very bad hatred for LeBron James because of what he does off the field. I'm not talking about the charity that he pretends to do. I'm talking about the fact that he can't shut his mouth and he's a billionaire and believes in socialism. We'll talk about that on another show.
completely different show. That's not even a sports show.
No, but there is a fact is that he is the best basketball player on the court now.
Yeah.
He was the best basketball player on the court then. When you have two people who are, and Kyrie's good, obviously he's great, but when you have somebody of that caliber that steps foot on that team, I don't care who you are, that is the person who's in charge.
Yeah.
That's anywhere. You could have the best, grade A, #1 military general, but when the president steps foot, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That person in charge, he's the commander-in-chief no matter what.
If anything, that was expected.
It is, and Kyrie should have known that. There should have been no bad blood. You should have been looking at one thing and one thing only, that's winning a ring. That's it. Instead of the piss and moan fighting that they did inside the locker room because he had Napoleon syndrome, because he had a power struggle. That's not art. Save that crap for the playground. That's not what you do in the NBA. LeBron James, hate him or love him, is the best basketball player there is.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that the thing is too, is that I had nothing else but going on last night. I watched some of the Nets and Golden State Warriors game. The Warriors, obviously, there's not a lot to take away. They lost big.
Well,
the
sure,
Nets,
what do you mean there's not a lot to take away? There's a ton to take away from that game.
but the thing
You
for the
can
Warriors,
analyze that all the way down to the...
Did Draymond Green even play?
No.
Draymond Green didn't play. James Wiseman, who came from Memphis, that was the second or first overall pick.
I didn't even recognize Steph Curry because his new hair look.
Dude, so many people in the NBA had Paul George had cornrows. Everybody had their start of the year, first day of school haircut. That's when I was watching. I'm like, okay, he's looking the best dressed for today. He's looking for his senior superlative award. It was just so weird to see, and maybe it's just because it's a brand new start to the season. It's something fresh. But the thing is, though, is that the Warriors have James Wiseman, which with their success in the past, he looked good for the time that he played. He had fun. They even mentioned it on air that he ended up getting an alley-oop when they were down big, and he's still young. He's just trying to have fun, find his place in the league.
Right.
On the other hand, though, with the Nets were so dominant.
My mom wants me to wave to her.
No,
We'll all wave.
That's my mom. Oh, there you go. It's she's my mom is texting me and doesn't, I don't know. She's like, why are you not participating? I thought I was participating. Am I not participating enough?
Yeah, you are. You're participating.
Why is your mom just yelling at you?
Because my mom loves me.
Wow.
She wants me to be the
Remember
best.
that time when my mom outed me on air at your house?
She did.
Yeah,
She did. That was real. That was a real thing. And actually, dude, I've been meaning to say something. I've thought about this a lot. We had that big talk. You need to get a job and all this other stuff. And then 3 days later, your girlfriend broke up with you. Dude, I feel responsible for that. So I want to help you. And I have a couple applications to Burger King and stuff and McDonald's.
Damn.
I have for you for Christmas. It's not that I don't think you'll make it in the media industry. I mean, we pretty much know you won't. But we want you to have a fallback plan. So...
Next topic. You son of a gun. Anyways, though, going back to the Cavs talk, obviously we were talking about it on the brighter spectrum of the NBA their first night. The Nets win big. Kevin Durant, can we talk about how big his legs are? His legs are so small. It explains why he tore his Achilles heel. Because he has about, Probably like 1 pound of leg.
He's 1 pound of leg.
Yeah.
He skipped leg day.
Yeah,
Every day. Every day.
I seen a video. It was Kevin Durant. He was struggling just to bench just a 45-pound bar with no dumbbells, with no plates on.
He's so lengthy though, so like that's his advantage is his height. So I get it, but dude, hit the legs once in a while, man.
Seriously, being a professional athlete, like that's important. Like calf raises. Like all that stuff, you're running up and down the court. Sometimes you're running backwards on defense. So, like, yeah, legs, dude, that's hella important.
Hella.
And then going back to the night game, too, the Los Angeles Clippers and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers lost opening night.
My mom says we have pretty gross ads.
Yeah, we saw that. She doesn't like us manscaping, does she?
I don't know, Mom. You going to pay us for the ads that you want us to take off? No? Weird. Shave your balls! Go ahead.
Anyways, so like that first night of basketball was refreshing. Obviously, you didn't see the best performance though either.
No.
And it's the first night. I mean, some teams, the Lakers played the first time in 80 days.
Right.
Everybody else was like 150, 200.
Which was another issue in itself. Which goes back to, I understand why they wanted an extra preseason game. But why not do it? Why not just give it to everybody?
Yeah.
Right? Why not just give it to everybody? They know. I mean, you're watching what happened. You know what I mean? You're seeing it.
From I know obviously you're on different sides of the spectrum now, but when you were an athlete though, like playing baseball or whatever,
right.
If you had the option to put in work, aren't you gonna want to become a better athlete and put in that work if it's optional? Like, I don't know about me, like, or about you, but me as an athlete, like, if I have the downtime, I'm going to try to get better because if I have that opportunity, because I'm not okay with being just a good player. I want to be better than good.
If it's one thing that I've noticed talking with Tift or Mercado or any of these guys, even when we had the interview with Plezak and talking with Geyer and stuff like that, they all have one thing in common, all of them. And I understand that there's a lot of people who don't think NASCAR is a sport.
Dude, you literally have to shit your pants at times.
You do.
That's right.
I'm Googling that when I get home.
Please don't. You don't want that in your history. But there's one thing you have to be an athlete, to be a competitor, you have to have one frame of mind. That's I will be better than him. But at the same time, when you fail, you can't be too big-headed or arrogant, Kyrie, to realize that you are not, unless you're playing tennis or you're playing golf or bowling or NASCAR or whatever, even NASCAR, you still have a team behind you.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. It's just like with the podcast. We have a team behind us. I might not have been here for a long time, but I was still able to facilitate all of this and make it happen. But the minute your team goes down, you're bad. So you, as a competitor, you have to want to better yourself, but you have to want to turn around and better everybody else.
Yeah.
There's no need for
everybody has an off day. You have to
Different.
pick yourself up.
You're only as good as your partner.
Yeah.
Well, that's period. That's with anything, though. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, sports is this, sports doesn't, teach you this. Sports teaches you everything you need to know. Whether it comes from, leadership skills.
Playing on a team.
Everything.
I mean, think about it. When you're playing on a team, too, to step further.
Selflessness, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and when you're working, like, when you were working back at Rockneys or whatever, when you're with your coworkers, in the end, you guys are a team. You're trying to figure that out.
Even though we couldn't stand each other and stuff like that.
But look at the Cavs in 2016. LeBron and Kyrie literally couldn't even piss next to each other without getting in a fight.
Which is a problem. But that's the thing, though, is when you have that division in the locker room. This is what I was talking about with OBJ and Mayfield. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to jump sports or anything, but when you look at when OBJ got injured, is it horribly got injured? Absolutely. I don't want to see anybody get injured. But now look at what Mayfield's done. He's seeing clearly. He doesn't have the pressure from the inside coming out. He doesn't have this where we need to, where he's got all this pressure coming down and he needs the force to be, forced to make plays. It's the same thing with us at the podcast. You have enough people to rely on. Like you had to pull a pretty hard one when you had to do the show by yourself.
Yep.
Because I was in Arkansas. That was my bad.
Mm-hmm.
My B. But
no, there's a benefit, and I'll tell you what the benefit is off air too. Because that I told Riggs in the car too that even though it was super difficult, there is a plus side to that though too. Because that's down the line. Obviously, you have to kind of speak to the viewer and I had that option, that first segment, super difficult, but I still got through it. It's not easy looking into a camera, talking nonstop, and also trying to wet your whistle without trying to have, a too much space of just nothingness and quietness and just, just chugging on a water and just trying to catch your, your breath overall.
I'm trying to figure out, and how do the hot chicks on ESPN do it?
Tiff said the show was good.
What?
Matt Tiff said the show was good.
Thank
Matt
you,
Tiff,
Matt
our
Tiff.
pick'em champion, although he hasn't picked since week 1. What's funny too is Parker Pierce and I are the only ones picking anymore.
Well, see what happened when we had that bad snowstorm. My phone broke, and I'll tell you that off air. But
Yeah, he went to get out of his car and his phone went into snow and somehow the snow broke his phone. Super weird.
oh, and then I threw. Anyway.
Anyways, though, going back to the NBA, though, this is kind of a question that's going to be interesting on the aspect of the Cavaliers. And the question is guys, viewers, in the comments, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, whatever, if you're watching it, make sure to subscribe for one on YouTube especially. We're at 35 subscribers. We're making our way up, obviously. This has been a start since what? You've been around since April or March? No, March. March. Yeah. It was like the day, like 2 weeks before the shutdown or something when we were at that other place.
No.
Yeah, we're still shut down.
We were shut down, bro. We were supposed to be doing what we were doing.
Right.
No, in like February, March. Like March was like the shutdown, and I remember doing that show at that other place. And then before that, we knew
dropped
like
for
2
free.
weeks before. Yeah.
Did we go to Red Gate Radio? Red what was it?
We
Yep.
forgot the name of the place. We're glad you remember though.
No, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
But anyways, with that mindset though, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, will the Cavs ever win another championship in your lifetime?
I don't.
Yes.
And okay,
Yes,
well, I'm
come
33
on.
now.
Yes. You're how old?
33.
Oh, you're my age.
Right. So
How
like,
old is he? 10?
24. 10
I
plus 14.
would like to say yes. Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Yes. Are we going to win a championship? Probably. Come on. Eventually the Indians are going to win.
Well, the Cavaliers
eventually the Browns are
specifically,
gonna
though.
win. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we have droughts and droughts and droughts. The only problem is basketball is different than baseball, and basketball is different than football.
Correct.
You can actually, you saw what happened when you formulate a team around one good all-star. Eventually we're going to get an all-star. He might be washed up, but he'll at least be able to do what he needs to do to get the team to win. Do I think it's going to happen in the next 5 years? No. Do I think it's going to happen in the next 10 years? Possibly, but probably not. Are we going to be competitive? Yeah, I think we'll be competitive all the way up. I think you're going to see us win some. I think you're going to see us lose some. I still think, and you might see us, like you made a good point, you might see us squeak into the playoffs, hide in, sneak, run, and whatever you want to call it. Do I think it's going to outlast my life before they win a championship? No.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
the first one in 2016.
Changing subjects too, and going back to NBA's opening night too. Since the NBA is back, that means one thing. Charles Barkley is also back too, making his statements.
Terrible statements.
So Charles Barkley said that he believes Portland Trailblazers or the Portland Blazers, I don't even know what they go by, if they dropped the trail or not, but Barkley said that the Portland Trailblazers will win the West. This is also the same West side that has the Lakers, the Clippers, that literally just
That
played a
still has
competitive game
Damian
last night.
Effing Lillard on the Portland Trailblazers.
Effing Lillard. We got
Damian
what's going on?
Lillard.
Some dude.
Okay, remember before the world went to crap and we were having fans in arenas, and I believe it was the Western Conference playoffs, and when he hit that shot on Oklahoma, to me right there, even though Damian Lillard has been in the league for some time at that point, but that was to me like a second coming or second, welcoming to him. We talked about professional athletes grinding off the field just to try to make themselves better. I believe Damian Lillard does the same thing. He probably gets up early in the morning and runs on off seasons, and he also writes good raps. So, yeah, there's real talk. So,
See, he does, but that's how I judge
Yeah.
how good football players are, by their ads that they do, the commercials. You judge them by the raps. I can do this.
I thought you were
Wrangler, not sponsored.
But nonetheless, like when he hit that shot, and just the look of determination on his face, it's like, I'm not leaving the Western Conference until I at least win something, or I at least compete my ass off. Like, can Portland probably win the West? I hope so. I think they're probably the only contenders who can give the Lakers a run for their money, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith, what are you thinking here? Do you think the Lakers end up winning the West, or do you think that Charles Barkley's statement isn't completely outlandish?
I don't think it's completely outlandish. Just because he had an opinion, Barkley. Why did Barkley say that?
Because it's Charles Barkley and people will talk about it?
There's another reason. Who doesn't he really get along with?
Oh, yeah, LeBron.
Hates LeBron. Hates him. No hate. And I agree with him. It's crazy and ridiculous. But, is it wrong to say that LeBron James, as of right now, isn't the LeBron? He's not in his prime, right? Is that fair? Can we say he's not technically in his prime?
No.
Does he still have
help.
Years? Right. He has help.
Yeah,
So,
he has Anthony Davis that actually gets along with him, unlike Kyrie Irving. That's why he brought him in.
Exactly. But that's another problem. Players shouldn't be able to bring other players in.
Yes.
I understand that they have a chemistry going and you want that chemistry, but is Barkley wrong? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think it's outlandish. I think it's one man's opinion that I have to
he's
agree
entitled
with.
to his own opinion. Just
Right?
like
So,
we all are.
Do I think they're going to win? No, I don't. I
So,
don't see him.
going to Charles Barkley's other statement, too, and this one kind of caught me off guard, too, because once he made this... Yeah, exactly. Say that one more time for the viewers?
Double hit.
All right. So Charles Barkley said that Miami Heat will not be back in the conference finals. And that was after they were in the
mean
NBA
ever?
finals.
Or just-
this year.
Okay, well, that's not wrong. Do you think that's wrong?
I think so to a point. Like he's saying the conference finals as in the Eastern Conference finals, not the NBA finals. I feel like this year, nobody expected the Miami Heat to be a part of the NBA finals against the Lakers and make it a 6-game series. They hung around, obviously. Maybe that bubble atmosphere and the reset made them a better team because they were working in their downtime.
Sure.
But I see them being in the Eastern Conference finals because you don't really have too many other powerhouses around there. You have the Wizards who have Russell Westbrook now. Big deal. That doesn't happen. That doesn't work. Boston Celtics, they're rebuilding once again. The Milwaukee Bucks, I could see the Bucks and the Heat being in the Eastern Conference finals, and that's probably going to be it.
Because I'm sitting here trying to elaborate what you're saying. Because who else are powerhouse threats in the East? Like I don't even know if
Philadelphia can be at times, but they're not. They could be. They've always been missing that one key piece for a long time. And maybe if James Harden ends up going there, maybe, but that's also a big maybe. There's no certainty in that statement.
Okay. So that also leaves out the Orlando Magic, obviously, the Indiana Pacers, obviously.
The Pacers, I'm not even worried about because the Cavs, I know it was preseason, but the Cavs were taking care of them 2 games in a row almost in preseason. Also, ironically enough, too, my hat is actually an old-school Cleveland Cavaliers hat, and that was not planned. I just like the hat.
So basically, the 2 powerhouse teams in the NBA Eastern Conference will be Milwaukee and the Miami Heat.
Balding.
And if the Miami... Okay, so basically what I'm getting from this is that maybe Charles Barkley has some type of hidden agenda against the Miami Heat.
And anywhere that LeBron played at?
Exactly. Hey, it could be that too. But like Keith said, the man's entitled to his own opinion.
Well, sure.
And then the last NBA topic, too, because this is something that I was talking about last week when I was solo and all by myself. I was going to sing the song, but I know I don't have a good voice. But Luka Doncic, that plays for the Dallas Mavericks, ESPN believes that he's a top 5 NBA player. Yeah, Cavs for Mavs.
He could be a top 5 player.
But here's the thing, though. I thought that initially, too, but if you end up thinking about guys like Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, obviously, James Harden's in that conversation, too. Giannis, that's 4 right there. You could name one other one, and then I think he's top 10. I don't think he's top 5, though, because he's still young. I think it was more so...
name your top 5. Kyrie's not in top 5.
I mean,
honestly,
the ones that I'm thinking of right off the bat is James Harden, LeBron James, Kawhi.
So wait, LeBron James is 2?
No, I'm not. Just top 5 in general, not in order.
Okay, I got you.
So Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then you got one more, and I think there's somebody better than
Lapupu or whatever. I think he's pretty good.
I think there's somebody better than Luka Doncic, though, that would be
Say
better.
his name and it sounds like you're having a stroke. You understand that, right? Say it again.
Which one, Luka Doncic or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
That one.
What about Tua Tagovailoa?
Now, who do you think is better than Luka that can fill that 5th spot?
That's the thing, is that I'd have to actually sit down and think about it, because after I broke it down, like I thought initially last week that he was a top 5 NBA player. And then afterwards, I forgot about James Harden, and he was that one player that rounded out the top 5 then because Luka could have been bumped. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the thing, though. Like, I don't see him being a top 5 player. I think he's viewed as a top 5 player because he came from playing overseas.
And he's on I wouldn't call Dallas. I would call Dallas like a medium market team.
Yeah, and I mean, they're getting around. I mean, they have Kristaps Porzingis, who's still competitive. Last year, he was just hurt. But I think the big key here, though, is that why he's viewed as a top 5 player is because nobody expected him, because nobody ends up hardcore scouting these guys that are playing overseas compared to your collegiate athlete.
Right. Hell, one of the final memories of Kobe Bryant, him and his daughter Vanessa were courtside watching one of his games, and Kobe, being the man of many languages, was talking crap to Luka in his native language.
Dude, that's awesome.
What's his native language?
I don't even know, but Kobe was running his mouth and he was telling his daughter, like, hey, I'm going to say this to him. And he's like, hey, your game's trash. And he turned around and just seen Kobe and they smiled. And
he's actually Slovenian, Luka. And he's only 21, too. That's the thing, though.
Damn.
So many people, he came into the NBA at the age 2018, so what, 3 years ago? He was 19. And
wow.
That's the thing, is that he's so young. I feel like that's why he's not a top 5 NBA player yet. That's why my opinion is what it is.
He's not even the peak of his life yet.
Yeah, so he's not even the peak of LeBron James's hairline, which we're going to be talking about later on today from the 9 to 9:30 hour. Charles Barkley made a comment about his hairline, too.
We have to have more stuff to talk about than that.
Well, we do. When we get back, we have football to talk about. Because, we usually try to follow, like, these half-hour breaks. So...
You should technically do it every 15 minutes.
But we haven't asked you in a while. When you get home tonight, what are you going to do?
I'm going to smoke a cigarette. I'm going to take a shower.
And then when you're in the shower, what are you going to do?
I'm going to...
Riggs, help him out here.
Hold on a minute. I'm going to grab the baby oil because my ball toner's gone. I'm going to grab the lawnmower.
3.0.
No. Nope.
Like the grass lawnmower?
Yeah, no. I'm going to use it. I can't use the 3.0. It's clogged. The engine's not working. Blades are dull. I got to use the 2.0. I'm going to switch them out. I'm going to do a little in-home management, and then I'm going to manscape.
There we go. Finally. Slow
manscape.
Delivery, but we got there.
Slow delivery?
We'll be right back on the We Like
No!
Sports
Slow delivery? I think I did just fine on that.
All right, I'll give you a hearty high five.
Take it.
We'll be right back on the We Like Sports podcast after this. Riggs is going to manscape.
Whoa! Right now?
You're
bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
Why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the high-patented, high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTS with a Z at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped, and use the code SPORTS. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.
Merry Christmas. And we're back on the We Like Sports podcast with Riggs and Peyton. Riggs, what are we going to talk about right now? I know that we tried to stick him to a time schedule, but somebody had to do Christmas shopping because he's a big shot. You know how that is. He just comes and goes as he pleases. But at this time, we're going to be talking some NFL.
National football talk. Cleveland Browns fans, my Cleveland Browns fans, we're 10-4. We are 10 wins and 4 losses. And I want you guys to let me know in the chat, how do you feel about a 10-4 season? How confident do you feel about the last 2 games of the season?
Riggs, let me ask you that question. How do you feel about the Browns being 10-4 for one? The fact that there still is a small possibility that even with an 11-win team, they might not make it to the playoffs because we have to end up bringing the good and the bad here. But they also have a chance to win the division too. What are your thoughts? I mean, this is Week 16 this week, and the Browns are 10-4. There's no talks of a mock draft. This is the biggest thing for the Browns because there's no mock draft talks. You're looking at pictures of the 22 quarterbacks in a row with that Tim Couch jersey, and now you could just wear a Baker Mayfield jersey, and he seems like he's the type of person that could lead your team. Mm-hmm. What is your thoughts? Just all those all combined into one, I guess.
I'm nervous, happy, excited, scared to death, and flabbergasted about our Proud Boys on the Lake have a winning season. Our Proud Boys on the Lake have a damn good coach. Our Proud Boys on the Lake can break a 17-year playoff drought. And honestly, I've been talking to other Browns fans in the neighborhood, and they're to the point where if we make it to the first round of the playoffs and get our ass whooped, we won't cry about that loss because we're happy and humble enough that we've made it to the big game. Now, the Monday night game against Baltimore, as a Cleveland Browns fan, because I haven't experienced this yet, to me, honestly, that felt like a playoff game to me. That was a roller coaster of emotions. Just a Monday night game against Baltimore. So going into a real wild card game or a divisional game, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, someone's going to have to call Metro Health Hospital to park in front of my house during that game because whether we win or lose, I'm going to be excited because it's good effing football for the first time in my life that I can recall on.
And not only on top of that, too, while we end up bringing it up, I mean, Keith brought it up earlier before he ended up having to run out of the studio really quick. With the whole entire situation of Odell Beckham Jr. getting hurt, for one, let's go with that perspective of Odell Beckham Jr. not being on the Browns team. Is that somebody that you want to see return to the Browns next year to make them even better? And on top of that, too, how much of a revenge game against the Giants was it for Rashard Higgins to actually get playing time, play hard? That was definitely more so like, you know how in the past you had Demarius Randall and you had Baker Mayfield with Hugh Jackson and you had him handing the ball, Demarius Randall to Hugh Jackson, Baker Mayfield crotch chopping at him. Now you have Rashard Higgins that wasn't even a thought for the organization for the Browns, and now they're talking about an extension maybe? What are your thoughts on all that? And also, before you dive into that, the Cavs are up right now, 93-80. Colin Sexton has 23 points. I'm giving the breakdown really quick. He has 23 points. You have Darius Garland with 14. Larry Nance Jr. with 11, and
how many assists does
Sexton have? Mm-hmm. He only has 2. So
see, as a point guard, I don't give a damn about points. You have to pass that rock around. But if you have to score, then you have to score.
And the Cavs rookie too, Isaac Okoro, has 6 points, 4 assists, 1 rebound, and he's 2 for 2 from the field. So I mean, with the opportunities that he's given, he's not looking that bad. And on the flip side, with LaMelo Ball, he is at 0 points, 0 for 5, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and only played in 16 minutes. Obviously, when you come to play with the big boys, it's obviously a lot more different than preseason. I feel for the kid because I definitely want to see him succeed, all because, I mean, seeing him in preseason, he's looked very like a highlight reel. He looked really tough. Mm-hmm. But going back into the Browns talk, though, we'll obviously in the last hour probably talk a little bit more about the Cavs because the game will be over with, and hopefully we will be talking about a 1-0 start. But anyways, going back to the topic of Odell Beckham Jr. and Rashard Higgins on the Browns. Riggs, what are your thoughts?
Odell Beckham Jr., what he needs to do is stop bringing so much attention to the Browns. And that's the whole talk of the town with the Cleveland Browns. Well, Odell gets hurt, and we do a complete positive 180. So I think we're better off without him. I think if Odell Beckham wants to stay with the Cleveland Browns, he needs to keep his mouth shut, not ask for the ball so much, and he can maybe play decoy for a few runs. Now, Higgins, yes, pay that man. Give him his money. Keep him on our team. Even Peoples-Jones, because this
a sixth-round pick, by the way. Here's the thing. Troy and I were talking about this on last Friday, the last show of the pregame of 2020, because, holidays and whatnot. But with Donovan Peoples-Jones and the whole entire draft class, I mean, you had Jacob Phillips that started on Sunday night because I forgot which linebacker. I think Mac Wilson ended up being scratched. Mm-hmm. So you have him, you have Grant Delpit, you have... Who did they get in the first round? Jedrick Wills. Oh. You have all of these people from this draft of 2020 that are outstanding. In the sixth round, you had Donovan Peoples-Jones, who has been a steal for that draft pick.
A quiet steal.
But in 2019 and 2018, you don't really have that many memorable people from that draft. I mean, hell, you drafted a kicker at one point in the fifth round. This year, it's much more different. So going back to your statement about Donovan Peoples-Jones, I want you to go back into that, but I wanted to mention...
Basically, like Odell Beckham, he should be sitting at home and realizing that these guys that are making less than I am are progressing on the field, probably off the field as well. So basically, I just need Odell Beckham just to keep his ego in check. You don't have to have every single catch. You don't have to be on the highlight reel. Every once in a while, homie, he can just play decoy. I don't want to say he's a distraction, but to me, it's always the wide receiver who cries for the attention.
And, I mean, that all goes down to the perspective of not having touches and stuff. Michael Thomas, it's always the wide receivers, and I always compare Michael Thomas because he's probably the top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. And the thing is, though, is that they always end up complaining about not getting touches. I mean, look at wide receivers that are really good on bad teams. Look at Julio Jones on the Falcons. Mm-hmm. There was talks of Matt Ryan and Julio Jones being on the fact that they could get traded away because they want to play for contenders. Mike Evans was forgotten until Tom Brady came around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously it always seems that you always have these divas when it comes to the NFL and wide receivers specifically.
Yeah, you had, what's his name? Oh, you had Terrell Owens crying on national TV about Tony Romo being his quarterback. And in the press conference, he's curling dumbbells in his driveway. It's always the wide receiver that's a part of the circus act.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to the aspect of the Browns, and this just blows my mind because Baker Mayfield, there's been so many critics for Baker Mayfield and the Browns and just nonstop. Everybody at one point this year felt like Baker Mayfield wasn't the guy after the first couple games, this, that, the other thing. It was always something. But for the quarterback, the QBR metric, or the quarterback rating metric, Baker Mayfield, if you didn't look at that paper in front of you, mm-hmm. where do you think he would be at when it comes to the National Football League in terms of QBR, or even from a stats perspective? Put what you see on the field aside, outside of all the intense statistics, but where do you think he would be at amongst the whole entire NFL?
If I can rank him out of right now, who are the best top 5 quarterbacks in the league? I would 3.
So maybe that's a little bit more so from the Homer perspective because you're a Browns fan. But
I look at Aaron Rodgers and I'm thinking about Wilson.
Yeah, now you could name more than 5 quarterbacks because you have Rodgers, you have Wilson, you have Mahomes, you have Tom Brady still there, you have Josh Allen, you have Drew Brees. That's already 6. And, I mean, you could end up naming a Lamar Jackson, too. So, I mean, that's 7. Then Baker's nowhere to be found. But from that QBR standpoint, he is in 5th from the QBR metric rating with a QBR rating of 76.6. Ryan Tannehill, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers are the only ones above him. So he has some elite company with him. And again, Browns fans, remember, early on this year, especially that first game after Baltimore, did you want Baker Mayfield to be your quarterback? You had your doubts, right?
I had doubts, but I also had, you have to give the man another chance. You just can't give him one game, he craps the bed, and you're not the guy no more because you're taking confidence away from somebody. And as a Cleveland sports fan, we're tired of, oh, yeah, remember Cliff Lee? He played here. Then he went to the Phillies and actually won something. Oh, remember that guy? He played here, and then we didn't have confidence in him. He went the next year, won something with that team. Highlight reels, one game-winning catch, game-winning hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always the Cleveland luck.
When Lindor leaves, there's going to be a ring on his finger, whether you want to face it or not. He's going to end up winning a ring. It's going to happen regardless. But out of that QBR metric rating, he's in front of guys like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady. He's above them from that QBR standpoint. There's so much that Baker Mayfield has developed into this year because if you look at it from that perspective, from the Cleveland Browns, and again, coming from a Steelers fan, guys, I'm not a Browns fan by any means. I'm a Steelers fan, but thank you for the middle finger. From that standpoint, though, Baker Mayfield has developed within the last 3 games after having bad weather games. I mean, the run has been figured out, and he's been like 28 of 32 with 350 yards passing. Baker Mayfield, going back to the get in the ring subject, from earlier on, he could be a Hall of Fame quarterback down the line. And again, imagine that as a Browns fan, Riggs, if Baker Mayfield is around for 10 years, and let's say that's it, and he just calls it a career after that, are you going to be happy or upset with how long his career was?
In that 10 years, and here's the thing, I'm not going to be that petty Browns fan that says, well, we didn't win the bowl. I can't even get those words out of my mouth. But we didn't win the Lombardi, so I'm not going to say Baker is a great quarterback in my eyes. To be truly honest, I know 50-year-old men that said that this dude is even better than Bernie Kosar.
It is a possibility. With the game developing the way it did, Baker Mayfield has looked like he's had a tale of 2 seasons. He looks like he's a lot more comfortable. And to dive a little bit deeper, too, somebody that commented on our stream, Brandon Smith, he ended up saying that he thinks the Browns beat the Steelers with their defense. The Browns win with their defense, which has been forgotten pretty much this year. They've had their good games, but they haven't had many good games. The Steelers' offense looks like shit, and he believes Myles Garrett will have a day against them.
You guys do got a lot of people out on your defense. Yeah,
and injuries. I'm not saying
2 ACLs from not
both
from one
linebackers.
Person, yeah,
you have Bud Dupree, you have Devin Bush, and you ended up having their last game or 2 games ago one of their other linebackers out with an injury for a couple weeks. So it's adding up for the Steelers. Obviously, if you're playing football, it always has to be any sport whatsoever. It always has to be the next man up mentality. But with the playoffs on the horizon for the Browns, obviously they have the Jets this Sunday. The Jets could give them a problem because they are coming off of a win. You never know how momentum works.
You got that confidence. And that's another thing about this. Browns fans, even to my best friend Brian sitting at home, I'm calling you out on this one. Just because we're playing two shitty New York teams back-to-back in the Big Apple, don't just put your feet up and saying, oh, well, we're just going to just have fun in the Big Apple this week. Take every second of every game, every minute of every game, enjoy it, and don't get your hopes up. Because on any given Sunday, anything can happen because this team is the New York Jets. They're bitter.
They beat the Rams that are 9-5. The playoff contenders, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Jets, who have no business beating them or even playing competitive football now.
After firing their defensive coordinator as well. That was our defensive coordinator / interim head coach. But what was I talking about?
The Cleveland Browns and the playoffs and not taking the Jets for granted.
Yeah, don't take the Jets for granted. Do not. Who cares if we win 26-6 or we didn't blow them out of the water like people are saying on our local sports radio station. They expected us to just walk all over the Giants. I have confidence that our football team can make the playoffs, but this New York Jets team, they're bitter, they're angry. They're having the worst season of their lives, some of those people. And they see, well, look at Cleveland. They're finally trying to do something new. So they want to take that away from us. So don't take this team lightly on Sunday. Dead ass serious.
And to top it off, too, this is going into the next subject, too. So you got the Jets. Then after that, you have, I think that's week 17 then, and then that's against the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So you have these next two games. You have Myles Garrett that's been out for 2 weeks because of COVID.
Punk ass COVID.
He's pretty much said that with COVID, he has not been the same. It's been trouble for him breathing. He's just winded consistently.
On the field, he's been getting some flags. I've noticed that. Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Does that concern you with the playoffs on the horizon? Yeah. Does that concern you as a Browns fan?
I'm sitting watching the game, and then a friend of mine's like, "Oh, he was gone for so long. That's okay. That's okay." No, that's not okay because he has to play. We rely on him on our defense. That is our best defensive player and the highest paid on our defense. He has to play damn near perfect football on that field. Don't move an inch until that quarterback hikes the ball. So, Myles, stay healthy, positive, stay in great spirits, but homie, we need you. You got to keep your mind out there, man.
All right, so on that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we still have NFL news to cover, such as the MVP conversation. Who belongs there? Right away, you think Patrick Mahomes, you think Aaron Rodgers. Does Derrick Henry belong there, Riggs? You let me know after this break. Then also, I know how much you want to talk about Josh Gordon. And then after that, when we get back, after the two NFL topics, it's going to be the miscellaneous half hour. What are we going to talk about? Who knows? It might be movies. It might be video games. It might be what color socks Riggs is going to wear on Christmas because him and his ho-ho-hos, who knows what's going to happen. We'll be right back after this break. Manscaped.
Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
Why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only one, but two free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the high-patented, high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTSWITHAZ at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped. And use the code SPORTS. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.
We are back here at the...
It didn't even transition yet, you rookie.
It's good. We are back here at the We Like Sports podcast, live from Hooligans Gym, with our producer Tyler on the ones and twos. My name is Riggs. This is Peyton Vince here today. We're going to continue with some NFL topics. So we last left off talking about Myles Garrett and COVID. So now what we want to ask you, would Taysom Hill beat the Kansas City Chiefs on his own? With Drew Brees having, 4 weeks off because of an injury?
So honestly, that was the one thing I was thinking is when I was watching that game, because I've been picking against the Chiefs for quite a while because the Chiefs just seem like they're complacent with where they're at as a playoff team. Mm-hmm. That one loss, if they end up losing the next 2 games, that'll be okay. They could honestly rest their starters and it doesn't matter, but it just seems that they don't have that edge. I picked the Dolphins over the Chiefs. The Dolphins almost won. They almost made me look like a genius. The Chiefs almost lost to the Saints, but Drew Brees, I mean, he had like a completion or like a QBR rating of like 36, which is terrible. And then you have Taysom Hill, who has that dual threat that he could be a running back, he could be a quarterback, he could be a tight end, a wide receiver, whatever. I feel like they just kind of forgot about him. And even what screws me up as a fan, if I'm a Saints fan, is the fact that when Drew Brees was asked if he was ready to play in that game, he said no. But what's to say that Drew Brees also forced his hand with Sean Payton and said, hey, I want to play, let me play. Because, I mean, athletes can be stubborn, too.
They can be stubborn, and they can also not want to be. Because think about it. What if Taysom Hill had such a breakout few games to the point where the Saints front office is just like, Drew, who? Hey, I trust your arm and your leg to get us to a Super Bowl than you. Now, Drew, you can sit in the back. You can be the veteran, but let's change it. Because look how Lamar Jackson is.
Yep. He
can compete with someone like that. I don't think I've ever seen Drew Brees leave the pocket.
And Lamar Jackson, too, I want to say when you end up comparing all the stats with Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, the 3 top quarterbacks of that draft class, Lamar Jackson only has like 10 interceptions because he's on his feet and rushing around all the time, that he doesn't have to throw the ball that often. Therefore, he only has 10 interceptions. But obviously, I'm kind of that same route, too. And Saints have even said, too, after Drew Brees retires, Taysom Hill's your next guy. There's a reason why they didn't start Jameis Winston. There's a reason behind that, and that's because they have more belief in Taysom Hill.
I would, too. You see that hit Pat Mahomes took by the 2 defenders on the Saints? It looked like a late 70s NFL football hit. Like he just folded. Like I just got home from work, sat down, turned on the TV, and I saw that hit.
So speaking of just hits and vicious football players, I want to get into this topic, and then after that we'll get into Josh Gordon, then we'll get into the miscellaneous section of the day. But with Derrick Henry, he's a beast of a running back. He's dominating just the rushing game as a whole. He's close to 2,000 yards rushing for the season. Does he belong in the MVP conversation with guys like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers? Because I think that's the only 2 other ones that belong.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, 2's a company, 3's a crowd, all in the spirit of competition, because I'm tired of seeing, if the quarterback is good, then yes, he deserves to be that MVP conversation talk. But it's always that good old apple pie quarterback that's always the first ones in the talk, in my opinion. Why not a tough-ass running back like Derrick Henry? Why not? I mean, I think he belongs in that conversation. If I was a football player and I seen him coming towards me, I mean, I wouldn't know what to do.
Do you think he has a fair shot, though, as a running back, though? Because, I mean, look at it. Any kind of, the Heisman race, the MVP race, it always seems to be...
Who else is a better running back than him right now in the league? Because Ezekiel Elliott's really, I don't think, is making no noise.
He's exactly. Nick Chubb might be in the conversation.
Nick Chubb could be in the conversation. To be truly honest, God, I don't know.
But it's always the quarterback, too. Like, same thing with baseball. You don't see pitchers winning the MVP. It's always the hitters and whatnot. So, Shane Bieber was, the 3rd MVP candidate of, that was the finalist. That he was the 3rd one. That's kind of how I'm viewing the running back situation for Derrick Henry to be in a conversation for MVP against 2 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. That's my concern, because I feel like if he's in the talks, he has the opportunity, but he's not going to win it because he's not at that MVP position. He's not the one leading the team, and that's just the hard truth, I believe. Also, one more NFL topic, and then we'll end up getting to the miscellaneous topics, specifically Charles Barkley, back at it again, like we mentioned earlier on in the show. Just nonstop craziness. But, Riggs, this is just you to get your anger out with Josh Gordon getting another opportunity. He ends up screwing up once again. And after being close to coming on the field for week 16, 17, I think even last week he was supposed to too.
They said piss in this cup.
Yeah, and what happened?
He failed because he is a moron. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to put this on Twitter, and I really hope that he's listening to me. That's why I'm looking into this camera. Mr. Josh Gordon, you need to stop. You're making yourself look bad, and you're making young African Americans look bad that want to become professional athletes or do something better with their lives, because all you're telling the public is that young African Americans like to get high and smoke marijuana, and they don't care about business. They don't care about a better life. You can put that stuff to the side until you retire, because you have money in your bank account that people, black, white, yellow, Asian, that they will never see in their lives. Okay, marijuana is a stress reliever. Okay, I can understand that. Find other ways to relieve your stress. You have a damn good career, a damn good job, and a damn good future. Now, what if your children want to play professional football just like daddy? They probably won't be able to because of the BS you laid down for that foundation. All you professional athletes out there, I get it. Life's hard. It gets stressful. We don't see what you do off these cameras. But you're also role models to little freaking children and people who look up to you as young men and young women. You have to do better. You seriously have to, because I'm sick of this shit.
I think I couldn't have said it any better, honestly. And
I hated that I had to bring race into that subject. But, dude, this is the second or third time I've talked about this shit on this podcast.
And we've only been doing this roughly for a year plus.
I apologize for the language. That just makes me mad. Like, you have a go to therapy.
All right. So, going back to the Derrick Henry conversation with the MVP talks, Hayden Buckley, a friend of mine, he ended up even commenting about the Derrick Henry situation. He said that he's a one-way player. All he could do is go beast mode as a running back. He might be approaching 16,000 or 1,600 yards, but he's only a one-way player. I mean, if always in that situation, too, I mean, it just seems that he's a downhill runner. You could look at Trey Sermon for Ohio State. He had 300.
Oh, my God. You see that stiff arm he gave?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, man. Yeah, that just popped in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, one-sided player. Okay,
he's a man playing with boys. Like,
right.
He's literally a man playing with boys, and just like that's like the type of guy that he's going to be in middle school and taking your lunch money because he's the high schooler. That's the way it looks like out there. But going on to the miscellaneous section, I wanted to get that out there for the MVP conversation. But Charles Barkley at it again, of course. Kevin Durant was interviewed post-game for the Nets, and got to remember, too, Kyrie Irving at one point about a month ago had his blackout media situation. He's not going to speak to the media, this and that, the other thing. Then Kevin Durant is speaking to Charles Barkley, TNT. I'm so happy that basketball's back just for the aspect of Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal back at it again. But to see this interview, Tyler, if you could pull it up for a second, the interview between Charles Barkley and Kevin Durant, this is just how it is. This is the way that basketball is going to end up acting.
There was talk about you coming back for the playoffs last year, so you really just been working on your game, trying to get back your timing and conditioning, really, to be honest, correct?
Yeah.
He looks cold.
That was it. That was the answer.
Yeah. So is he just in the zone, or he just feels some type of way about Charles Barkley?
Kyrie Irving doesn't want to talk to the media.
Hey, I don't get sensitive about these guys. Y'all know how I feel about them.
I'm just saying, man. Let me see my face again, Jeremy.
Yo, man, I had a serious announcement to make, and y'all keep screwing around.
No, you don't want to get Jeremy. Just show me a picture of Chuck's face.
Hey, can I?
Hold on, what's your serious announcement?
Okay, y'all, I was talk about.
So, you got to remember, too, Kyrie Irving didn't want to speak to the media. Kevin Durant, pretty sure he's not following in his footsteps of his teammates. He doesn't want to talk to the media. Right now, TNT, Charles Barkley, he's the media. Mm-hmm. He asked them a question, and you got to also remember, too, that all these media personalities, too, we've done it, they've probably done it. It's always when Kyrie Irving made that announcement about, I'm not going to speak to the media. What are we supposed to do as media members for these post-game interviews? That's the result. because he spoke to the media. He still did his job, but he also answered it with a one-worded question, which when you end up trying to quote that, what do? Yeah. That's it.
That pretty much says that he did not want to be there.
He didn't want to talk to Charles Barkley.
Exactly. Like, you can say, "Oh, I don't want to talk to the media," but if I'm the commissioner of the league or your agent, your agent, hey, guess what? You have to, buddy. It's bad PR if you don't.
Yep.
Hey, you don't even have to look him in the face. Just give him one word. So, if anything, that was just
like that.
I feel like that was him saying, "Look, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to try to be as professional as." But he didn't even make eye contact to the camera. He just
that reminds me
like
of
a
Marshawn
cold
Lynch.
Female. Yes,
Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Remember?
Yeah.
That's literally Kevin Durant. I think that's point blank the same exact thing.
I wish I can understand what these pro athletes go to with the media, because it's like, I don't want to be a jerk to someone who's just trying to do their job. But if you're trying to do your job and also stir up the pot and make me or my team members look bad, then I have to be a jerk to you. But, I mean, I guess one bad apple spoils it for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So, going on from a different point of view from that standpoint, you have Charles Barkley also having a quote about LeBron James and his hairline. I have to find the quote, too, because this was something that was even said, and I caught it while it was on air. But Charles Barkley ended up saying that this guy, we're talking about LeBron, is one of the greatest players ever, but I don't know how he'd be getting hair. Because literally to start off the game, too, they went, well, LeBron's hairline looks good. Like,
I think it's money. Me and a few of my...
It's not genetics, that's for damn sure.
Right. Me and a few of the boys at my old job, we were talking about, like, LeBron's hairline, and it's just like, dude, you're the best basketball player in the world. You don't have to have hair. I mean, maybe he doesn't want to become bald and then he really gets compared to 23 and red if he's bald. So, I mean, like, LeBron, I think you're just embarrassing yourself, homie. Give it up. Shave it. Or I don't want to see you in the next 15 or 20 years at 2 a.m. doing Hair for Men commercials right after Frank Thomas commercials for testosterone boosters.
Dude, terrible testosterone boosters, too. If you are sponsoring us at one point, maybe I'll change my opinion. But anyways. Anyways, though, I'm having Tyler pull up the clip here for a minute with the whole entire situation of the NBA changing gears over to the father and son duo of Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods. They had their father-son tournament, I guess. I don't even know too much about it. But the way that he ended up playing and his mannerisms being the same way as his father's, it's crazy to see that comparison too. But before we go into that, Riggs, I know how much you want to talk about it, and I know we don't want to jump from basketball to golf to basketball, but what are your thoughts on this whole entire James Harden situation? Because James Harden, I mean, he's fat, he's out of shape, you literally have the announcers for Houston say, you know, we don't need you on this team, James Harden, in the middle of a game. That's not the right thing to do, because just you saying that, that's gonna, like, that's, again, bad media. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, though, he's still on the team. When he's gone, talk your shit. But right now, when he's still on the team, you got to deal with it.
That, to me, that situation just seems like a bad relationship. It's toxic. It truly is toxic. And if he does not want to be there, get rid of his ass. You might be better off without him. Stop being so codependent on somebody with a bad beard, somebody who travels, someone who drags their foot, someone who always Euro steps, someone who will probably be on the same level as Charles Barkley, a great player, but you'll never win that Larry O'Brien trophy because you're a subtle little bitch.
And he also wants to go to the East, too, because LeBron's in the West.
Because LeBron's in the West, and he knows he's not going to do anything. It just makes me mad that these athletes are just prima donnas in the National Basketball Association, because if you do this, you have young people that don't play basketball that look up to you jackasses, and they're going to go to their high school coach and probably try to pull the same thing or try to pull the same thing in their everyday life. Let me tell you this right now, how I know these how professional athletes, how they influence some of our youth. I work with this one young man. His name's Brandon, and he was talking about this was when the Tampa Bay and the Chicago Bears game happened, and Tom Brady didn't shake a hand.
Yep, way back when.
And he said, well, Tom Brady doesn't have to shake hands. He's got 6 championships. That doesn't mean nothing. That just means that you're a sour little punk bitch You got your ass whooped. Go out there and accept it like a man. So someone seeing Tom Brady not shake hands, that's telling him, oh, well, it's okay. Well, if I get my ass whooped, I still know I'm better than this person. I don't have to shake your hand.
But it's about respect at the end of the day.
It's about respect at the end of the day, and some of these professional athletes need to know. They lead by example, and some of these kids are taking that with them to their adult life, even if they make it as professional athletes or not. Like James Harden. I don't know.
Where do you see him end up going if he's not with Houston? Because obviously Houston,
if he stays in the West, I think he can I don't know, Portland won't have room for him.
And here's the thing. He can't play with another, like, I was watching ESPN and they had James Harden, how he controlled the Rockets' whole entire franchise. He didn't want to have just him as the star. He wanted to have a great role player. He got Chris Paul. Chris Paul wasn't good enough for him. They shipped him off to Oklahoma City, got Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook and James Harden played together for the first time in years. Westbrook wasn't good enough. They didn't get along. He got traded to the Wizards. Now he has John Wall, which, coincidentally, he's probably not going to play with John Wall either because already tonight the Rockets game got canceled because of COVID-19, and that might be this first week might be the only opportunity because if I'm the Houston Rockets organization, they gave so much to the Rockets, or not to the Rockets, but to James Harden. You have to put your foot down at some point. When you give a kid candy over and over again, and I think I got the same exact analogy from somebody else. I don't even remember who or where, but when you give a kid candy over and over again, what's going to happen when you tell him no or her no?
Yeah.
They're going to throw a fit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're entitled. They feel like they're too deserving of it. Like James Harden, dude, like he needs to just get off his ego. Like if you want to go play in the East, go play in the East. Then again, if you make it to the NBA Finals, I hope LeBron beats your ass because you still have to go through him regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to end up doing, changing gears here, because I know we wanted to vent about James Harden. This is something I've been waiting for weeks, honestly. But the thing is, though, now we're going to change topics. We're going to talk about Tiger Woods and his son, Charlie Woods, who, hell, Tiger Woods' son is a much better golfer than I am. Sure, he's a much better golfer than you. And I mean, the kid's only like 11 or 12. It's absolutely astonishing that he has been so good of an athlete. And just in one weekend that you see him on TV, it was impressive. So we're going to change gears here, and then we're going to close out with some Chief Wahoo talk because this is the Cleveland Indians' name.
Yeah, he stands like his dad.
So here, we're going to end up playing the video. Just watch exactly how they act.
He's really embracing this moment.
The mannerisms, club twirls, the gait, the fist pumps, like father, like son.
Both wearing the Sunday red.
That's what they call it. That fist pump.
That's always what Tiger wore, is the red on Sundays.
What a duo that we're seeing.
He's got it. Get right in.
Be the number.
Got it covered, Dad.
Come on, Dad. I
Come
got
on up
you.
here.
Staying the same. All right, Tyler, I think they get the hint.
Like Faja, like son.
What movie is that from?
Oh, behave.
So anyways, though, it gets you excited because we were talking about this way during these matchups of golf with like Charles Barkley being involved with Steph Curry and Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Tiger Woods. This future generation that, I mean, at this point, honestly, it's probably going to be these kids. Like Tiger Woods' son, Charlie, is right on the brink of when our kids end up being adults or even growing up and like the people 10 years, 15 years older than us. He's right in between. But if he's this good now at 12, and this goes back to practicing and whatnot, how good could he actually be? Could he be better than his father? Something to actually find out down the line because personally, I'm going to take the hot take here. You could record it. You could play it again. When we're 15 years down the line, when Charlie Day.
Wow, that's an actor, yeah.
Oh, man. Charlie Woods is better than Tiger Woods. You can come back to this podcast.
I want to see.
December 23rd, 9:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that Peyton Vince said that Charlie Woods is going to be better than his father, Tiger Woods.
Or let's say down the line, Charlie Woods is an adult. He wins the Masters. Would you like to see his dad give him the jacket?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. And, imagine if, he ends up getting professional early on. Because, golf's a weird sport because you don't have that age limit. You could start, I want to say there's a female golfer. I forgot what her name was, but she was on, the PGA Tour at 16. So if you could be that good early on, imagine that potential. He might not even be able to have his first alcoholic beverage, and he might win the Masters. But imagine that. He's 11, 12 now. That's 7 years down the line.
Tiger Woods and Kitty Woods.
Can't stand you.
Oh, no, I don't like that. No, I don't like that.
So anyways, since you just embarrassed yourself all like that, last topic of the day in the We Like Sports podcast, and then after this, we're going to just go off the air. So until then, stay tuned to find out that the Cavs won 121-114. They covered the Giving 3 spread. The Cavs are 1-0 to start the season. Yeah. Good news. Obviously a good start. Cleveland, you might have a basketball team that's fun to watch, nonetheless. But that wasn't what I was originally going to say. Next Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. Stay tuned. My schedule might be a little wacky. I'm not going to end up making a decision regarding me. We're going to figure out what's going to go on the show. Stay tuned on our social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Follow us, subscribe, like it, all that fun stuff.
All right.
There we go. Sunday, stay tuned to find out if we'll be at First Stop. Probably are going to be there. 11 to 12:45 p.m. for the Browns kickoff. Nonetheless, though, going into the conversation for the Cleveland Indians name, what are your thoughts? Obviously, there's a difference, and the thing is I'll give my opinion first. What I think about the Cleveland Indians name, yes, I love the Indians name. I love the Cleveland Indians. But they're allowed to have this until 2022. 2021 next year is the last year that they have of the Indians name. Francisco Lindor is more than likely not going to be here. Why not start a new chapter of the Cleveland baseball history with a new name? Start off fresh, get rid of Lindor, have a different name. If you've seen the concept jerseys, I'm a really big fan of the Cleveland Buzzards. They have very nice uniforms. You have the Buzzard from 100.7, the Buzzard. WMMS. So you have all these possibilities. I don't want the Spiders. I don't want the Galaxy. I don't want the Citizens, the Buckeyes. I want the Buzzards. The Buzzards would be a good team. But that's why I say change the name in 2022. Yeah. Because, yes, we are the Cleveland Indians. But Troy and I talked about it, and it opened up my eyes from a deeper perspective. We aren't Indians fans. We gravitated towards this team because they're from Cleveland. The name shouldn't matter. Washington right now, they're not just a fan of the name when they're the Redskins. They're a fan of Washington having a football team. That kind of broadened my horizons, and hopefully, obviously everybody has their thoughts, their opinions, but that's why I'm not too upset when I have the clarity of what can happen. Also, before we end up going, though, too, and you give your opinion, this just clicked in my head, too. I need a haircut, man. What about you?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I can really use one.
So who are we going to go to? We're going to go to Cisco the Barber. Give him a call. Holiday season's a little backed up, but see if he can squeeze you in. Contact him at 440-320-2691. Again, that's 440-320-2691. Or on Instagram at Cisco the Barber. That's where you get the haircut from, is from the spot, from Cisco the Barber.
And he's good with that straight razor, y'all. I'm telling you.
But go back to the Indians' name.
The thing that it hurts me with the Cleveland Indians name, because I remember being a little boy and my grandmother telling me, this is our baseball team. They are called the Cleveland Indians. This guy name is Chief Wahoo. This is our baseball team. They're named after Native Americans. And her being such a avid baseball fan, just hearing her say this is the name of our team, just that energy from it. I feel like hopefully if I become a father, or a grandfather, I want to give them that same speech that my grandmother gave me. This is our team called this. With no changes, no nothing, the same history, the same stories, except my grandmother told me about some guy named Oscar Gamble that she had a crush on.
Dude, I remember Oscar Gamble. That's the dude with the afro, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's coming from a 96 baby right there.
But it hurts. It really does, because when I close my eyes and I think of my childhood, I think of me wearing a WWF shirt with a Chief Wahoo hat. Or I think about Kenny Lofton grabbing the ball and the Chief Wahoo.
There's so much history behind it, and I get where you're coming from. But obviously this is something to dive back into in the future, because right now we don't have much baseball to talk outside of free agency. We have, I think winter meetings are coming up soon. But for our fans on the We Like Sports Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Stitch is from Lilo and Stitch. But anyways, leave it in the comments. If and when we end up changing the Cleveland Indians name, what would you prefer? Give us your options, give us your ideas, because obviously, like I said, I'm a big fan of the Cleveland Buzzards. Change the name after Lindor leaves, have a fresh start. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to go with. But nonetheless, we'll end up diving back into that in the future. Guys, we're going to be out of here. It's time to go. Make sure to be, you know what? Christmas is Friday. You know what you should get your significant other? Especially the female audience, for your husbands, your boyfriends. I don't care what you do. For your boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. Get you a Manscaped kit. Use the promo code SPORTS and get Manscaped. Shave your balls. Shave whatever. Shave your hoo-hoo too. I don't know. That's what you got to do. Guys, Merry Christmas. Enjoy it. Happy holidays.
Be safe.
Stay tuned to see what's going on for next week. And we'll see you guys soon. Manscaped.
If you're
bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
Why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the high-patented, high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped. And use the code SPORTS. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.